Hello, today we're going to be making some simple syrup, NF, which stands for National Formulary, and we are going to be using some distilled water and some sucrose, and we will also be setting up a 100 ml graduated cylinder. We will be using that to calibrate a beaker to 200 mLs. I know in our email that I said we were going to be making 250, but we're going to be making 200 mLs, and so the amount of sucrose that you will use for NF will be 1/5 of that, or 0.2 times 850 grams, which is 170 grams. And as you can see, I've had to use a large weigh boat to weigh 170 grams of sucrose, and I have already weighed that. So I will be taking the water that I used to calibrate the beaker, and I will be dumping that out because we will be QSing up to 250 mLs, and we're going to be doing that after we add the sugar. And as you can see, the sucrose is quite a large amount, and I'm going to pause this video for a moment. So I have added the sucrose to the beaker, and as you can see, we are almost to the mark at 200 mLs. So this is going to be a highly concentrated amount of sugar. So I'm going to add enough water to cue us up to my calibrated amount. So I will be QSing this in stages so that I don't go over that amount. Now, as you can see, it looks like it's over, but I'm going to be stirring it with my stirring rod. So I only added about maybe 25 mLs of water, and as you can see, I am almost up to that 250 ml mark. So this is going to be a very saturated solution. So I'm stirring, and I haven't added heat yet. I just wanted to see approximately where the 200 ml mark was. So I'll tell you in class a more exact amount for the sugar later in the day. We're going to try this again later in the day. So as you can see, it's not QS'd up to that amount yet. We have also set the temperature at about number 6, and I will be using a thermometer to monitor the temperature so that it does not go above 85 degrees centigrade. So as you can see now, I have set up the thermometer. I have it set on centigrade, and it is still actually climbing a little bit. It was at the room temperature in the drawer, and I've added it to the syrup. Notice that I have the clothespin holding the thermometer so that the tip of the thermometer does not touch the bottom of the beaker, and it is not touching the sides of the beaker. You can't see it really well, but it's not touching the sides. So what you're going to be doing after you add the sugar and QS'd it to 200 mLs is you're going to be stirring it. So we're going to dissolve the sugar, and we are not going to allow it to go above 85 degrees centigrade. So now I'm monitoring the temperature centigrade. You can see that it's slowly going up, so you want to keep your eye on that. When it gets to 85, we're going to take it off the burner and put it onto the ointment tile again. So try to set your thermometer off to the side and stir while your temperature is going up. We'll eventually bring this to a boil, and as soon as it boils, we'll take it off the hot plate and return it to the ointment tile. So while the sucrose is heating up, we're at 72 degrees right now. I wanted to quickly mention that in Remington's Pharmaceutical Sciences, which is one of the essential books that we use in compounding, there is some good information about syrups, and here at the bottom it says it's important that the concentration of sucrose approach but not quite reach the saturation point. Sucrose provides an excellent nutrient for molds, yeast, and other microorganisms. In concentrations of 65% by weight or more, the solution will retard the growth of such microorganisms. However, a saturated solution may lead to crystallization of part of the sucrose. So if the temperature changes, that will also change. The other thing I wanted to mention is if you do overheat it, you can actually form invert sugar, and it can caramelize. So fructose will actually invert and form sucrose, or it'll form two different types of sugars, fructose and I believe it's dextrose. So it's all here in Remington's, and I'll talk more about it in class. So I have stopped stirring this. The max that I allowed this to get to was about 83 degrees, and I took it off. I can actually pick it up by the lip and put it down on the a paper towel that's on the ointment tile. And as you can see, we are not quite at my dots. My meniscus is just below where I've calibrated it to 200 mLs. So I'm stopping the stirring, and as you can see, a lot of this cloudiness is not necessarily due to undissolved sugar, but is due to the bubbles. And so this sugar is dissolved, and now I just want to make sure that it's dissolved enough. And when I'm 100% sure of that, I will QS to 200 mLs using those dots. So I have my pipette, and I am going to QS with the pipette to the dots. And you're supposed to QS when it is sufficiently cool. And as you can see now, it is completely QS'd. So we're going to then allow it to cool a little bit longer, and then we will pour it into the 8-ounce the 8-ounce amber oval. So I wanted to talk a moment about flavors while I'm letting the syrup cool, but most flavors, if they're just a regular strength, you can add between 1 and 5% to taste, or with the flavor concentrates, 0.2 to 0.5%. This is math. If we took 50 mLs out of the amber oval that we use and we put it into a bottle, you could start with a half of an ml. That would be 0.01% would be a half of a ml. Or you could use the flavor concentrate and start with 0.1 mLs and go to a maximum of either 5% or 0.5%. So before you come to class, figure out what this range would be if you were going to use a regular flavoring of 1 to 5% or your flavor concentrates, and figure out how much you would add to a 50 ml bottle, because we're going to divide the 200 mLs. So that would be this 200 mLs here. We'll be dividing that up between 4 bottles of, we're going to give you 4 2-ounce bottles here, and you're going to let your syrup cool. You can use the 8-ounce bottle as a dispensing bottle, and then just put, or your 200 ml, and then you can divide it evenly into 4 bottles. You'll probably need to calibrate those as well. And then you can flavor to taste using these flavors. We have 4 flavors here, and we have the chocolate flavor, which probably got a little bit of alcohol in it, and then we have some cherry concentrate and some orange concentrate, and this little guy doesn't say concentrate on it. So the tricky thing about flavors is that you're going to have to do it to taste no matter what, with the realization that if you use a concentrate, you're going to be using about 1/10 of what you would use for a regular flavor. And you can taste test your amount. Just record how much you put in each bottle. What I'd like you to try is one of each flavor. And you may use a oral syringe to measure the flavors and put them and just add them to your syrups, and the exact final concentration will not be a QS amount, but you'll know approximate range, and I would just like you to record how much was added. So while I'm waiting for this to cool down, now it's been sitting here for about between 5 and 10 minutes. What I would like to do is just show you that it is much cooler to the touch. It's still pretty warm. I do not like adding warm liquids to plastic. That leaches the plastic into the syrups. If you were going to pour warm liquid into something, it would have to be into a glass bottle. Stirring it will also cool it quicker. So keep that in mind when you are getting ready to pour. And there are a couple of other things. One of the things I'd like you to remember is that you will be taking this preparation home with you, and you need to make sure that your glassware is clean if you want to use this as a syrup in your home. But I will be allowing you to take this home with you. So before you even start, make sure that all your glassware is squeaky clean and food grade, as we would say. Good luck, and let me know if you have any questions.